Welcome to Fortune Cookies Tarot. I'm Annabelle. I'm a tarot practitioner for over 35 years. And in this video, we are continuing our assassin series. We're going to talk about Sirhan, the assassin of Robert Kennedy. Be right back. Welcome to Fortune Cookies, and this is the third time I am recording this video. The first time I had some issues. My microphone went out and did not record anything. The second time, I just didn't feel like I did it justice. So third time's a charm. Hopefully we're going to get through this. Want to remind everybody, I do have a sale going on for private readings. You can link to that in the About section on my channel. The links were not working in the descriptions of my video. I don't know why, but for some reason they were not linking. So you can also go to my webpage, fortunecookiestarot.com, and you can link to my scheduler from there. You can see all the sales that are going on. Also, my Tarot 101 class, I'm goaling for October 1st. Some things got in the way. I'm reordering my office. I have a new desk coming, so there's a lot of stuff going on there. So we are chock full of news. I'm going to try and get some more content out, but as promised, I want to continue with the Assassins series. So let's talk a little bit about Robert Kennedy first. He was fatally shot on June 6th, 1968 in Los Angeles, moments after winning the California primary to run for president. He was a senator at the time. He was shot in the Ambassador Hotel, which was unfortunately torn down. It was not far from my apartment in Koreatown when I lived in Los Angeles. I had an apartment very briefly in Koreatown, and then I found out that Normandy Ave was the dividing line between two Asian gangs on a hot Saturday night where all kinds of activity was going on across the street. Thought it was fireworks. It wasn't. First weekend there, so I was only there for a short period of time. Beautiful apartment, though. It was built in the 20s. So the Ambassador Hotel was not far from there. It has been torn down. It was an amazing hotel. A number of Oscars were hosted there. So Sirhan was born in Palestine. Into a Palestinian Christian family. According to his mother, he suffered great psychological trauma as a result of witnessing the violence in the Arab-Israeli conflict. We're going to talk about what's going on in Palestine and Israel in another video. There's some crazy stuff going on there with beepers and whatnot. But according to his mother, he was very, very psychologically traumatized by what was going on there. One of the events was that his brother had been run over by an Israeli military vehicle or truck. So terrible, totally understandable. At 12, his family immigrated to the US, first in New York, and then they moved to California. By the age of 20, he was training to be a jockey. He was only 5'5" and 120 pounds, perfect size for a jockey. But he did lose his job at the stable and the ability to race after a racing accident where he suffered a head injury. This becomes very, very important because individuals that have head injuries, and I am someone who did have a head injury in my 20s, individuals that have head injuries have some personality changes, some cognitive changes, susceptibility changes. Either they become very, very susceptible to hypnosis and implantation, or they become less susceptible to hypnosis and implantation. They can become very easily led. In some circumstances, they can be susceptible to cult activity, those kinds of things. So just an important thing to note, because in this Assassin series, we did talk about implantation of concepts, ideas, directives in our first video. If you didn't go back, go look at the MK Ultra video that I did. I'm going to talk more about MK Ultra in general as well, with my amazing resource, MC Ultra, who is quite informed on the subject. He's a friend of Gregopedia and I, and he is a wealth of knowledge on this subject matter. So I'm just trying to fix my hair. I see it looks a little odd. So back to Sirhan. He maintained his Jordanian citizenship. His spiritual affiliations during his life did shuffle from Baptist, Seventh Day Adventist. He kind of shuffled around with that. But in 1966, he did join the esoteric organization, the Ancient Mystical Order of the Rose Cross, which is one of the Rosicrucian orders. A little bit of a departure from just your standard everyday religious practice. So we will bring out the Aleister Crowley deck for this. We'll be using a number of decks. Alicia Wicker's deck we will be using. As you can see, her cute little picture that I stuck in there. I hope she doesn't mind. But nonetheless, so in 1989, Sirhan had told a British journalist his only connection with Robert Kennedy was his sole support of Israel and his deliberate attempt to send those 50 fighter jets to Israel, obviously to do harm to the Palestinians. So this was the topic that was hung up on, that this was the reason for the attempt on him. He was convicted of first-degree murder, sentenced to in the gas chamber. But in 1972, it was commuted to a life sentence in the aftermath of the People versus Anderson. You can go look that up. That flipped around a lot of the sentences that were handed out. Currently incarcerated at Richard J. Donovan Correctional Facility near San Diego. He repeatedly is asking for parole, as one is wont to do when they are incarcerated. One of the latest appeals for parole was blocked January 13th, 2022 by Governor Gavin Newsom. He was denied parole again March 1st, 2023. They also actually cited at one of the parole hearings that he is staunchly anti-American and as a result should not be allowed out among polite society. So there's a lot to unpack with that. Now, as a side note, just a little sidebar on this, there's some questions, much like the JFK assassination, with the RFK assassination. So there were 3 bullets that hit Robert Kennedy. There were 5 individuals who were also hit by bullets, and apparently there were 2 bullets in a door frame as well. The item that Sirhan had carried only carried 8. So my math says that's more than 8. So there's a lot of discussion about how many people were there. And some of the individuals that were injured in this event, Paul Schrade, 43 at the time, he was an official with the United Auto Workers Union. He believed that there was another shooter. So there's a lot of discussion about that. So we're going to look at Sirhan in a couple of different ways here. We're going to see what his mental state was right after the head injury. We'll look at what his mental state was before the head injury. He was 20 years old when that happened. He was 24 at the assassination. We'll see what it was shortly after, and then about a month before the event, just to see where he was. So let's pull up the card view. As always, thank you so much for being here. Please like, share, and subscribe. I am losing 1 subscriber an hour, which is very, very odd. It's an odd thing that's happening. It's never happened in the 4 years that I've had this channel, and it's been happening more and more frequently. I do understand from some other YouTubers that if you do see an occurrence like that, it's somebody's downvoting your videos, which is such a bummer because I do try and support all of the YouTubers out there. And if somebody's downvoting me and watching my videos, like, that's just kind of rotten. Or it could be this assassin series, so go figure. But let's check it out. Hit the wrong button. Pulling up my card view. Always the professional here. So let's see what Sirhan's mental state was prior to the event. So we have a Three of Cups. Happy guy, probably, I will say traumatized from the events of his youth. However, this is approximately, someone who is out there living the American dream. I just pulled two cards on this for the past position. We have the Chariot and the Star, very hopeful for the future. Now, this is the suitcase position. I want to remind you guys of that. This is something we go back in our childhood, we go pick up the pieces and we move into the future. And this is really that hope, that excitement for the future that he's looking at. Under the surface, we have a little bit of duality here with the two of discs and change. So possibly this is a fated change or a karmic change that we're seeing in him. Up top, interference, conflict. We have the Eight of Swords. This is being kind of wrapped up in things. So in the past, and again, this is prior to the head injury. In the past, we have hopefulness, moving forward, doing something really cool. Those of you that are unaware of the horse racing culture, it's kind of an awesome culture. It's a very interesting mix of individuals, high caliber, high finance people that own the horses. You get this great kind of Napoleonic egoism that comes out of the jockeys. When I lived in Long Branch, New Jersey, I was not far from Monmouth Park, which does host some of the big name races. It is a great place, and it's kind of a fun place to be around. My One of my aunts, when she was younger, she used to be a horse walker. She would walk the horses around. She was a very horsey sort. But it's a really, really cool culture in horse racing. I mean, some people, have some issues about the way the animals are treated and whatnot. My experience, I never really saw anything terrible with that, but I did see it was a very, very fun, adrenaline injected culture that has some really wild characters in it. And there is a lot of money in it. So if Sirhan was involved in this, there's absolutely the opportunity for him to make a good, if not excellent living. So very, very curious. Up here, Prince of Discs, setting the pace for his life. This is indicative of being involved in horse racing, being able to establish have your own income. I don't think that this says, if this is our immediate feeling on the situation, happiness, joy, getting together, having opportunity, we're good to go. And here's Ace of Swords crossing him. This is what holds him in place. This is what gets him to this amazing future. It's his wits, his way to connect with people, to put things together. So if this is the head injury, this may be the head injury happening. This creates some issues for us. This actually kind of breaks down the whole plan there. So how he saw himself, Knight of Cups, very happy. Knights in the Thoth Tarot are the kings of cups. So the knights are actually, there's no king in the Thoth Tarot. We have princesses, princes, queens, and knights. So this is the king. This is someone who is completely in charge of their emotions, completely excited about the future, and being very smart about it, and also has the golden chest of opportunity open to him. How others see him, the emperor, he was seen as very, very well seated, pardon the pun, to be on racehorses and have an established career. His hope, Queen of Cups, that this is going to last, that we can make this nurtured and move forward and keep it going. And up top, The hermit wanted to be autonomous and use all of this information to have an amazing life. This is really where we were going. So we have a baseline for Sirhan before the head injury. Let's get into after the head injury. What happens to our guy after the head injury? The Fool. This is a reset. After the head injury, we get a reset. So imagine this isn't an adventure that he necessarily wants to go on, but this is an experience that resets him. Crossed by the universe, passing through the portal. Now, this is quite curious that we get the Fool and then the universe. This is the world card, the end of the major arcana in the Thoth Tarot. So we are now passing through. If you notice, both of these have very opening like birth canal like imagery on them. Thank you, Lady Frida Harris, for your amazing artwork on these. So the Fool is all opportunity is afforded. We're going on this new journey, but the universe creates a totally new life. So with head injury, sometimes you can get personality changes or perspective changes, and this is probably what happened. So under the surface, we get that Knight of Discs. This is a whole new reset. We get a whole new person out of this. What is behind the Nine of Swords? The anxiety, the scared, the terror of that head injury. Those of you that haven't had a head injury, trust me, they're not fun. My head injury resulted in several years of seizures, and it was extremely difficult to recover from. Extremely difficult. I had to do some radical things to get rid of mine. So, but I've been seizure free since like 2000, 2001. Up here, we have the 10 of Swords, ruin in the Thoth Tarot. We have ruin. So this is a complete destruction of the last person. Going from 9 to 10, we do have the progression. And then, 7 of Cups, we get taken in a lot of different directions. So with that 7 of Cups, we get a great deal of input put into his head. There's a lot of different pathways. What happens, and to be sure, my neurologist in California told me we really don't know how the brain works. Like I'd had some questions about, how we could make my seizures stop. What happens when the brain is damaged? Either sometimes that section will stop functioning, or you will wind up with different neural pathways that are established. So, it's kind of like if there's a traffic jam in a city, you have to kind of go around on those side streets or surface roads to get to the conclusion. So, this is what was going on. The neural pathways that were damaged, he had kind of a frantic running around. It's like if a bus got stuck at one spot, everybody was getting off the bus and running in different directions and jumping in cabs to get to the other side of the city. So that is really the feeling of what was going on post head injury. And then we have the Princess of Discs trying to reestablish, trying to birth. She is pregnant in this, and I did get this in my other two readings. I did get her glorious, glorious image. Princess of Pentacles or Discs in the Thoth Tarot is pregnant and birthing a new life. How others saw him as divergent. Others witnessed definite change of personality there, with that snake that is evolving and happening in some kind of a cyclical manner. And then we have the Princess of Swords, hopes and fears. The hope is that intellectual problem solving prior personality and ability is going to come back. Outcome, and we get the 3 of Cups again. So it's unusual that we have the 7 of Cups, which is debauchery and excess and clouding of things, and then we get the Love here, with that 2 of Cups. That's very, very interesting. So we're switching over. We have 2s here, um, 2 twos, and he is really kind of flipping the switch. So we're turning into a very different kind of person. Now, one of the things I read growing up Bin Laden, which was written by Osama bin Laden's sister-in-law, and one of the things that she had said about that she found very curious. She was Iranian and raised in Switzerland, and she had said that the older the men got in that family, the more radicalized that they became. So, is this a natural occurrence of radicalization that comes with age, not with, being from Palestine or Saudi Arabia? But is this, a certain radicalization? We even see this in the United States with, individuals that maybe were very liberal thinking, or radical in their college years, with the information that was being poured into them, the excess of information that's being poured into them. And then as they get older, they become much more conservative in their thinking and their philosophy. So, wondering if that's something that we see here. So, let's see what his mental state was. Actually, let's see if there was any interference with him. Because in my other readings, I got very firmly that there was a player that was involved. It was a doctor of some sort. So was there some involvement with an individual who tried to put forth some ideas? And we get the Prince of Swords. That would be a yes. Princes, swords are always the medical people, those sorts of people that can get in there. Surgeons, but also high thinkers, philosophers. Sometimes we can get attorneys with this. What crosses him? Art, alchemy, making change. This is such an amazing card. You can see the alchemy that's going on there. The water and fire under the surface. This is someone, 9 of discs, that's trying to, that is very protected, very secure, fundamental sword. Oh my God, the 3 of swords. Yes, trying to capitalize on this situation, on this individual. Again, we're talking about the possible interference by an individual who would tinker with the organic situation of Sirhan's brain injury to possibly turn him into some kind of interesting party. Let's put it that way. We get the death card. Death. What? And I always look at death cards when I get a new deck, and not that I've recently got this one, but that is one heck of a death card, isn't it? It's a great death card. So we're looking to have radical change. We are looking to change this individual into something else. Knight of Discs, we're looking to create a new warrior type. So I'm just going to take a pause for 1 second. All right, boys and girls. So we're going to start adding in our Alicia Wicker True Crime and Conspiracy cards. Now, this is the expansion pack and the original deck. I'm not going to use all of them, though. So what I do is I just kind of grab out a selection and I let the universe lead me to which cards we need. So let's see. Was this doctora? This doctor part of some secret system that needed to utilize Sirhan? So what do we get? Reptilian, changing our skin. into a bad guy, changing skin into a bad guy through love. Remember, Robert Kennedy was recently, moments before, had won the California primary to run for president. Again, using that love of country, DNA, which could be focusing on the brain, on the genetic, on the thing that we need to do. So let's do this. We're going to shuffle and clean up our real estate. So it looks like, yeah, we did get some interference there. I took way too many cards. I'm gonna have to shuffle these, dump them back in the box, come back up. So, well, that was fun. Have a pause for a second. I am determined to make sure that this video goes through all the way. So we definitely have some kind of interference from an individual who was put in place by some powers that be. So who was he with just before? Who was he with? Was he with this doctor? Oh, and we're going to switch decks. We're actually going to switch decks a little bit here. Eight of Cups. Page of Swords. What was done was done. The Star. Six of Swords. Six of Wands. So I don't think that he was with Dr. X just prior to the event. I think the implantation was done, the directive implantation, if that makes sense. I hope I'm not being too cryptic for you guys. But I think the implantation was done and dusted and left to its own devices. I think that's really where we were with this. The implantation, one of the things is that he wasn't supposed to make it through. He was supposed to be liquidated on site. There was um whoever the other individuals, they were supposed to take him out, but I don't think they could. Perhaps that's why we got so many different bullets lodged in so many different people, because they were supposed to liquidate Sirhan on site. They weren't supposed to, and this may be why he doesn't really recall the event, and that's one of the things that he has said in interviews, is that he doesn't really recall it, whether it was the trauma, that could be ascribed to the trauma, but I don't think that there was any plan, any implementation, for what he was supposed to do after. So this is actually pretty wild. Um, he was, it was kind of like, we're putting you on remote control. Go do this, and nobody's going to see you on the other side, so we don't really have to worry about it. We're just going to kind of leave it. There's no escape plan, none of that. We'll look at that with Lee Harvey Oswald as well. We'll take a look at that. So there we go. So he was supposed to be liquidated on the site. This is something I didn't get in my other reading, so I'm excited that I got something extra. He was supposed to be liquidated by another individual there. They were very happy with that plan. The other portion of it was very happy with that plan. But again, like Sirhan was very happy that he wasn't liquidated. I don't think he knew that that was going to happen, but I think there was a moment where he, kind of realized that he, skated right by that. That was a major problem for the people that implanted this directive in him. Major, major problem for them because this was the failure of the plan. This really, I don't know if someone tackled him or something. I think there was somebody who interfered with the line of vision, and the whole deal was done then. So terrible, terrible stuff. Terrible stuff. So let's wrap this up. Was it a mind control situation? Was he Manchurian candidate? Was he an operative? Was he a tool that was being used? Was he a tool that was being used? We're gonna do that's a past, present, future for you guys. I'm just grabbing a handful of Alicia's cards here. Look how cute she is up there. So 5 of Pentacles. He was in a situation, so if we're looking at past, this is post head injury, 5 of Pentacles, at a loss, not sure where to go. Keep in mind, the head injury was when he was 20. The incident was when he was 24. He would have been seeing doctors immediately at that point. 1964 is a pretty interesting time because we are starting to lead up to eliminating certain family members. They're trying to eliminate certain family members at this point. They, the big they, cryptic. So, smell something weird. Hope it's not brimstone. So he was already on the outside of what he could do. He was rootless. Um, if we're talking about at the moment, past, present, this is the future now. He can access this information now. If they got the right doctors in there, they would be able to access what had happened to him. This was a fresh start, a fresh start. So, was it mind control? Was that a mind control situation? Oh, need I say more? What are we looking at here? I give up. So, and government agency, and then we get gaslighting. The cards don't lie. I mean, Alicia's deck. I don't even know how many cards are in Alicia's deck, but the odds of me picking this one for this particular reading, I think we can call it night night. So, it's so crazy. I'm so paranoid now. My car is not working well. I'm probably gonna have to get a new one. Granted, she's older and I love my car, but I'm probably gonna have to get a new car. But with these MK Ultra Assassins videos, I've been losing subs. Strange things are. I'm just a little worried that if I go missing, tell my story. So guys, in the next video, we're going to talk about Thomas Crooks, a more recent incident. I got some very, very interesting things on the last reading. I'm re-recording. I've only done that one once, but that the sound was out on it. But I'm going to do Thomas Crooks next. So I hope you're enjoying this series. Let me know if you want Franz Ferdinand or any of the other individuals who have been assassins throughout history. I'm more than happy to take requests. I do have still quite a long list. I'm going to keep going on this list, and I'm going to keep going with pop culture information as well. So Thank you so much for watching. Again, please like, share, and subscribe. Book a reading with me, become a member of my channel, or go over and check out my digital academy. Like I said, I'm going to just table my final 101 course for October 1st. Trust me, it's going to be great. You guys are really going to appreciate it. There's journals, there's a daily journal, there's a workbook, there's a lot of stuff going on there. So looking forward to having all of you jump in the academy and get some learning done. So I will see you all soon. Thank you so much. See you in the future.